Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for today, my name is George, and for today, I want to talk about humor as a form of resistance. And and as you probably know, we globally we find ourselves in a very precarious situation with just like overall politically speaking. Um, but it's not obviously the first time. I think people know about what happened. Yeah, uh, I think people know what happened. I think everybody knows what happened during the 1940s, and and also just like and also even even today with the with the situation we are seeing a noticeable rise in fascism, but it's not obviously the first time, and obviously and obviously it's just like now people back then also resisted in in many ways. But for today I want to talk about humor as a form of resistance, and more specifically, during the 1940s, and more specifically, I will talk about Charlie Chaplin and how he used humor. So, I think everybody knows who Charlie Chaplin is. Charlie Chaplin is a comedian and an actor, and he was active during the 1940s, and I think people know, and anyone with a general historical knowledge know what happened during the 1940s. Okay, um, basically he used humor as a form of resistance and to subvert and ridicule the fascist regime. So yeah, um, in his movie The Great Dictator, Chaplin plays two characters, a Jewish barber and Adenoid Hinkle, and Adenoid Hinkle is a direct reference to Hitler, and by casting this the by casting a comedian in the role of a dictator, this under this just just by casting someone who's a comedian, it 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 allows for Chaplin to reframe his actions through it lessens the scare factor that was prevalent during that time, and it just ridicules it essentially, and just like and just like shows its absurdity essentially. um and humor for but and this way humor with humor Chaplin could um indirectly r- could in indirectly resist uh the uh, the the Nazi fascist movement and just the regime, and uh, and not directly through violence or aggression, but as a way to as as a way to kind of like uh, weaken its severity, like I said, uh, uh, ridicule it and show that they are not really in invincible all that much, and to obviously underscore the absurdity of the whole ideology. uh Charlie Chaplin's humor also emphasizes the humanity of the groups under the who were under the the fascist uh regime by contrasting the the dehumanizing behavior of the dictator with the uh, w- uh, with with just with the humanity of the people back then. he he basically reassures the viewer that that this thing is not that scary all that much. It's not invincible, and and it it's absurd, and and obviously it can be resisted, and obviously since we're talking about it in the context of history, um and obviously we learn it in history class. We can see that I mean, if people back then defeated it, it's obviously possible. So, so for him, he basically wanted to um uh emphasize that it's possible to resist. It's possible um to kind of stand on your ground, just stand and resist and hold until the end. um and obviously he highlights the humanity of the ordinary people. And by the end of the movie, we see Charlie Chaplin reciting a very famous speech. This famous speech is very powerful, and it's an emotional plea for peace, tolerance, and human unity. Um, uh, this just the speech is the uh, obviously he's speaking it from he, obviously obviously when he's saying it, he that's his that's what were his thoughts, and obviously he was speaking from his heart, obviously. um and obviously since we and obviously like I said, it's emphasizing a a sense of urgency that that we all have to come together as people to ultimately defeat this evil thing, this evil empire, essentially. um and obviously since we're talking about it, since and obviously and obviously people succeeded in defeating it. And um and and obviously if people back then the first time around they defeated it, obviously means that now it's possible to be defeated. But just the difference is that just like uh the only difference is that we have like more advanced electronic devices for for communication. And obviously we have to keep in mind that like uh communication is important, and it's something that he also emphasized back then. And it's also really important, or even today in today's world where due with our internet usage we find ourselves in echo chambers where we don't necessarily have a way to challenge what we believe. And um we kind of trap ourselves in a space where uh we don't necessarily have the due to how the internet is like algorithm how the internet is like algorithmic algorithmic oh due to how the internet is algorithmically yes, algorithmic uh, due to how the internet is algorithmically based. We we and we find ourselves in echo chambers where we cannot break out, and and even the sort of things that are repeated in those echo chambers become this sort of mantra where people live by it, and it almost becomes their it almost becomes like their reality in a sense. um and and even back then and even today we see humor being used as a form of of resistance. um I think you remember that SNL skit where basically uh, if you know, you know that the most recent uh, SNL skit. I'm not gonna go in and explain it, but but it's basically it's the same thing. It's the what Charlie Chaplin did, and what the SNL skit, and what the most recent SNL skit, if you saw it, basically are 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 doing is basically it's taking a a person, a a figure, someone, someone who we someone who only spreads hatred, but through through humor we can see that it's possible to see, to resist, to subvert it, and to ultimately defeat it, essentially. And um and and essentially the SNL skit is obviously it's obviously taking the piss off of, it's obviously like a satire on Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but it's also highlighting their just absurdity, and just like just like just like Charlie Chaplin, it's showing the audience that like humor is is also a form of resistance, and people should not lose hope, but people should actually try to resist. I mean, even going out to protest is a form of resistance. I mean, there are various ways uh, uh, of resistance, but humor is an aspect that um only a handful of people are capable of doing skillfully, obviously. And uh, and obviously comedian the obviously I want to mention Bill Burr, the comedian. He's been taking the piss off of other prominent MAGA people, people who are MAGA, just like taking the piss out of them, even e- even even basically just like r- telling them to their face, and like ridiculing them. It's also it 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 in it itself, it's also a form of resistance. So yeah, um so yeah basically please don't lose hope. If you are watching this, and you're someone who is and willing to resist, is willing to resist what's happening, and to make the world a better place. um this is this is for you. Go out there, do your part. I am also doing my part, just um in my own way, obviously. And I promise you, the world will the world will be the world will be a better place. So yeah, this is it. This is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Uh, goodbye. Goodbye.